Okay, I think I'm in now. Can you hear me? Jesus. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Here's what happened. Well, let me know if you can hear me first. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Okay, loud and clear. Sweet. Thank you, Chester. We are in the middle of a thunderstorm that just decided to come up on Florida in the last half hour. So I literally just lost connection twice. So I want to get you guys on the screen. So give me a second. I want to get you on the screen. Pop out chat. Here we go. Let's try that. Okay, hold on. Let me try something here. Is there a way to refresh the chat? I think I gotta, bear with me, guys. There we go. Start streaming. I think we're good now. I had to hit start streaming again. So let's see if this pops up. Hello, hello. Okay, I think we're good. I'm not gonna touch anything. Okay. It's the thunderstorms. I swear to God. But that's okay. Okay, you can hear me. Good, good. Thank God. Jesus, man. Hey, buddy. Let me close the door. Hold on. Man, how is everybody doing? That was rough. We made it through it though, right, guys? Man, this is the very first DDLive in, I think, since January, or I think that's the last time it said it was. Yeah, man. I don't think you guys can hear that, but boy, it's coming down. It's really coming down out there. It's not playing around. So I'm hoping that we can stay in connection for as long as possible. Ashton Luck, Eli Cortez, Brett, how are you doing? Super Tenor, see some channel members in there. Nice to see you guys. Episode 131 was the last time. Yes. This is episode 132. 132. I got a bunch of funnies for you guys today. Just a chill little hangout. We could do an AMA. If you guys want to ask me any questions, that's fine too. Happy Memorial Day to you all. Thanks for the service. Thank you. I appreciate that, Brett. Yeah, happy Memorial Day. Are you guys, if you're working, are you working tomorrow? I am off tomorrow, which is always nice. My job, I get Christmas, I get Thanksgiving, and a couple of other days. But it's in the military, man. You got off for every federal holiday. Every single one of them. So you got, it was getting like maybe once a month you would get a holiday or something like that. So, yeah. I'm not working tomorrow, Kevin says. Sebastian, Chester. Ashton is off tomorrow. Nice. Chris says, I actually have the day off. I'm off Fridays and Mondays, so it works out. There you go. Yeah, my son, he has a weird schedule. He has Fridays and Saturdays off. I used to work, when I worked for Habitat for Humanity, that was the first job I had after I retired from the military. I was doing 410s. And I don't know if I preferred that or not. I don't think I did, because those 4 days that you were working, you were pretty much just toast after. You were worth nothing, and you didn't have too much time left in the day. Doshi Plays, hey, welcome to your very first live stream. Are you guys digging the Hit the Bricks podcast and the live streams that we're doing? That's really been fun. It's really been fun, and it helps me because I only have to talk a third of the time, which is nice. Amber, how you doing? Chad, the TH historian. Aaron Click. I work part-time Wednesdays through Fridays, sometimes Saturdays. So I'm normally off work anyway. Yeah, it's tough to find that balance. And I think when it all settles in, I think for me, I like an 8-hour, 5-day work week. That seems to work the best for me. Whereas my wife, she actually does 3/12s. Yeah, she works 3/12s and she gets 4 days off. Now on those 3/12s, she's done, but she's at work right now. So but she gets 4 days off. It's really, really nice. So yeah. Davey and Nick are freaking awesome. And they are so well spoken and well versed in horror and the latest and greatest. And I could not ask for better partners in crime. And that's the first podcast on Spotify that I've ever had, which is really cool. Doshi says, I'm upsetting when I see a movie and I love it and my friends hate it, so I can't talk about it. They all hated Final Destination Bloodlines. To me, that's fun though. It doesn't bother me if I'm in a group of people or even strangers, that they don't like a movie and I do. I get it though. You don't want it to be awkward, but in my job, I'm a maintenance guy, and so I deal with a lot of people, and some of them, Davey, what's up, brother? Some of them are actual, because I go into a lot of people's units. I work in an apartment complex that has 130 units or something like that, and it's kind of cool when you go into some of the, younger folks' places, and they have, I'll see, like I saw yesterday, this guy had a Halloween 3 poster on his wall. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. But, and I remember I got to talking with one of them while I was working on his dishwasher. And Halloween Ends came up. And I just had a feeling where this was going to go. And what does the average movie horror liker that doesn't really, at least as far as I know, maybe is in the horror community. I don't know, but it seems like everyone that I've talked to that I don't really know personally, they don't like Halloween Ends, which is funny. I've never met a single person, a Joe Sixpack, that liked Halloween Ends. So it's kind of funny. But, I always bounce back in a respectful way and I say, well, I really liked it. And I think the way to approach that is just to say, I liked it because this, and this. If you come back with a respectful way to just say why you liked it, I think that always works out. Yeah. Chad the TH historian, I love Halloween Ends, Ask Gory, and Jamie. Yeah, a lot of us in the horror community, it's pretty much split 50-50, right? What's everybody drinking? Oh. What did you guys do today? I had the house to myself today. So my wife gets up for her 12-hour shift at 5:30. So, of course, that made me get up at 5:30. But then I usually kind of go back to bed, do my own thing. I watched some Mission Impossible today. Hold on, I got a message here. Let me turn off my buzzer on my phone. Yeah, I watched Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol. I watched Rogue Nation, and now I'm in the middle of Fallout. I'm kind of just going through the series after seeing the new one. And it's cool to go back and rewatch, because it's not like a franchise that I, would watch constantly. But there's a lot that I don't remember about that franchise, which is really cool. And it's, I think this is the first time I've watched all of the, I guess, later half movies together in succession. And it's really cool how they all kind of intertwine with each other in terms of the plot and the characters and characters crossing over to the next movie. It's almost like you could watch them back to back and they almost feel like they bleed into each other, like they're almost like one continuous story, which is really cool. Yeah, Kevin, Fallout is definitely the best one. Like, that movie is amazing, and it just has a much more intense feel, and it definitely feels like like the Dark Knight. Like, there's a few moments in that movie, especially during the prisoner transport scene, which, funny enough, kind of feels like the Joker transport scene in the Dark Knight. Or maybe no, they weren't transporting the Joker, were they? No, I don't think they were. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, and I'm trying to remember. Yeah, the Joker took over the truck. That's what it was. That's what it was. He had his goons with him. But there's a scene in Mission Impossible Fallout that's like that. Yeah, Cobra Kai, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, Cobra Kai. Did you see Karate Kid Legends? I think I have there's a screening for that on Tuesday, I believe. But I saw that Facci already put like a little short review out. You know, he did a short. So maybe there could have been like an advanced type deal or something like that. I'm not sure. There's so many movies coming out. It is kind of hard to keep up with when things come out and if they've already come out. And yeah. Yisao says, I hope I said that right. Favorite line from Last House on the Left. That's not a movie that's really like famous for the dialogue. It's more about what happens in the movie. I don't know. I'd have to go back and rewatch it because there's not like a line of dialogue that's really I mean, like, I do like when speaking of the remake, I guess, but it does kind of pertain to the original too, is when the people, they just did the heinous act to the daughter and then they come looking for shelter and then they come into the parents' house. That is a really intense sequence. And I think that's where the remake gets the edge over the original, because in the original, as controversial as it is, I think in terms of creating mood and being really intense, I think the remake did it better, because you could feel the tension when that the family, the criminals get in with the others that I think at the time they didn't even know that their daughter was what had happened to her. So it's more that type of movie. It's not really like, it's not like Tarantino in Pulp Fiction, and you can drop like Royale with cheese and like a ton of different lines. It's not that type of movie, which does bring up a good question though, guys. And you answered me this, okay? Yasal just started the conversation going. You tell me, what is a horror movie that has really good dialogue, really good lines, and quotable lines that you still might throw out this day? I can think of one off the top of my head right now, but I'll let you guys throw one at me. Mine is American Psycho. American Psycho has so many great lines. There's a real element of like humor, I guess. It's a great horror comedy. I'm gonna try to stay back from. I don't want to smack. I don't want to sound like I don't want to be gross. Okay. I've been gotten on to about don't drink into the mic, so I won't do that. Mike Costa, he says, what is your favorite De Palma film? I've just been getting really into him. Love Blowout and Body Double. Well, funny enough, you just mentioned my two favorite. I have been a De Palma nut pretty much since I saw Body Double. Body Double, I think, was my introduction to De Palma. I'm not sure if I saw Carrie before that, and I don't think I knew who De Palma was when I did first see Carrie. But when I watched Body Double for the first time in the 80s, when it came out, because I remember they used to play it on HBO, and I was like, what is this movie? And I loved the way, I think that was the first time I was really aware of great direction in a movie. And De Palma, he's probably in my top 3 favorite directors, because Carpenter's my favorite. I'm trying to think. He might be my number 2. I just love De Palma so much, And again, Blowout. I didn't realize he did the first Mission Impossible. He did that one. But yeah, Body Double, freaking classic. And it's a classic that doesn't get mentioned enough, but I'm starting to notice more people talking about Body Double, you know. And I think it's what's really cool is, you know, younger horror fans, they seem to discover De Palma, you know, through the years. And his name just keeps coming up. And that's just how strong of a director he is. You know, I don't think he directs anymore. But, yeah, Dressed to Kill. Dressed to Kill feels like a Giallo movie. So you can see that influence that he had on, you know, Italian horror from a lot of his movies, if I'm being honest. I mean, there's even like a Giallo-style killer in Dressed to Kill. But De Palma definitely has his own style. And Tarantino, I think one of his favorite directors, if not his favorite director, is De Palma. And his favorite all-time movie is Blowout, which is really cool. Destiny, how are you doing? Destiny coming to the Drumdums His House. Yep. Just in time too. We haven't started Funnies yet. I want to talk with you guys, okay? I want to get to know you on a personal level. Back to the question at hand. Destiny, if you want to know the question at hand, give me a horror movie that has really good dialogue, really quotable lines, okay? I'm seeing some in here. Hellraiser, Cameron P. Hellraiser has some good lines. Oh, hell yeah. That's part of what makes Pinhead such a great killer. Let me see. Who else we got? Woman in Black is amazing as a film. I still haven't seen Woman in Black, if I'm being honest. Cabin Fever definitely has some good lines, for sure. Richard Jenkins, you can't go wrong with Richard Jenkins, no matter what he's in. He always has a way of delivering his lines that's just memorable. Ginger Snaps, that's a good example. Sleepaway Camp, for sure. Sleepaway Camp's got some... That's one of those, it might be like... Some of the lines are delivered in kind of a comedic, unintentionally comedic way. Fright Night, yep, Fright Night. Great one. Jaws, oh my God, Jaws has so many great lines. I can see that you are going to continue to... What does he say? I've said the line a million times, but when I'm on the spot, it's hard for me to say it. I can see that you're going to continue to ignore this problem until it swims up and bites you in the ass. Okay, there you go. Oh, should I do my quint? Let me take a drink. Hold on, I'll do my quint, all right? I'll catch him and kill him for 3. But $10, Chief. $10. The one line I do remember is he goes, "For that you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing." Y'all know me, Chief. Man, I love Quint. That is one of the greatest side characters ever created. Sebastian, how are you doing? I used to watch their YouTube skits with Ronald McDonald growing up. Let's see. I'm starting to like Filippo Twins. Yeah. I've never checked out their YouTube content. You know, I just knew them from the 2 movies that they put out, and they are already 2 of the hottest directors that I have my eye on. Like, I love both of the movies that they put out. Oh yeah, J.G. Michael. Hello, Mary Lou. Prom Night 2 is pretty quotable. No wings? No fucking wings? Yeah. Yeah, that just adds another layer to any movie that you love, right? If it's got quotable lines. Yeah, Army of Darkness. Right now you're in charge of 2 things, Jack and shit, and Jack just left town. Thank you. Yes. What else? What do we got? The Blackest Eyes, The Devil's Eyes. My favorite from Carver. Yeah, that's one of my favorite, like, lines, paragraphs. I don't know what you'd call it. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him and another 7 trying to keep that boy locked up because I realized what was behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply, say it with me, evil. Yes. That was the first thing that hooked me about Halloween, was that line when it wasn't Myers, it was Loomis. The way Loomis delivers that whole speech, oh my God, amazing. Jennifer's Body, good example. Psycho Goreman, yes, I have the Psycho Goreman soundtrack on vinyl. Love that song that's in Psycho Goreman. What's the name of that song? Shit, I can't remember. Something, yeah? Shit. One of you guys will know. Okay. Friday the 13th, part 5. Is that what you're talking about, Blade Brown? Ooh, baby. Ghostbusters? There's House of a Thousand Corpses, yeah. Don't we make you laugh? You guys ready to do some funnies? I got a lot of funnies. Yeah, let's do some funnies. All right. Do I want to put a little music in the background for the funnies this time? Like way low, like deep, embedded? Do we want to embed some music? We'll embed some music. Hold on. You know what? I love this. Hold on. This is cool sounding. Hold on. Where'd it go? Drumdums Jams, guys, on Spotify. I got way too many songs in there, and it's hard for me to find them because I have so many in there. Yeah, we'll just do this one. This is a good one for funnies. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. It's not letting me play that one. That's weird. It just skipped that track. I don't like that. Here we go. Somebody tell me what that is. Real quick, tell me what that is. Whatever you do, no matter how much he cries, no matter how much he begs, never, ever feed him after midnight. How could you not like this movie? Fucking chills. Oh, so good, so good. Even if you don't like the movie, you gotta admit. Can't snort coke and make music this good. What a song. What a freaking song. Jesus. Yeah, maybe, do I want to play another song? Hold on. Do I want to roll the dice with the YouTube copyright? It's like Russian roulette, YouTube copyright style. But I can't help it. I like playing music. You know, I like playing music. It's tough. Let's see. Hold on. How about I play you a taste of something? All right. Isn't that great? Oh, gee. What was that song? You name that song. Let's see if you guys can figure it out. I can only play a taste. Because you don't want the YouTube copyrights coming after you. Yeah, I wish I could play you some Sleep Token, but yeah, the stream will be stopped immediately. I don't know how all those reaction channels they get away with. Like they'll play every freaking Sleep Token song and they don't have a problem. It's insane. Maybe it's because they talk over it or something. I don't know. Drives me crazy though. Earshot. Wait, that's it, David Thorson. He got it. He got it. All right, what's this one right here? Here you go. Any guesses?
Teams have gained the world, but have nothing to keep.
This is one you don't hear too often.
Upon this loss isn't wasted time. Face opportunities to.
Oh, Sleep Token's drum is so freaking good, Amber. I've listened to it constantly. The songs, I'll play like a snippet, okay? Yeah, I'm going to get in trouble here, but screw it, okay? This part right here, hold on. Is that not the tastiest freaking guitar riff ever? I can't deal with it. That's amazing. I love it. I love it. Chevelle, yeah, Mike Costa got it. I love Chevelle. Love Chevelle. And this song right here, we're chilling, right? We're just having fun, guys. That's all we're doing. There's nothing wrong with this. Hold on, here we go. This right here. This song. Oh, God. This is my favorite song off the album, the very last song. And then we'll go forward a little bit. Hold on. Oh God, I wish I could play the whole thing for you. Infinite Baths. If you want to listen to it, listen to it. It's so good. But this part right here, I gotta get to this part. Hold on. Yeah, right here. Pause it just to be safe. Just to be safe. All right. Don't want to get a copyright. But everybody, get ready to freaking headbang. Here we go. Jesus, man, that's holy shit. That literally levitated me off of my stool. Wow, that was so good. Jesus, that's all I needed. I just needed a taste. I'm Michael Scott. I just needed a little bit of a taste. That's it. That's it. I'm good. Okay, I didn't bother anybody. I'm not getting a copyright claim or anything. I'm not getting the stream taken down. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. Devin Townsend vibes. I could see that. I could see. Sleep Token. They're just such a mix of a lot of different styles of music. And some people have a problem with that for some reason, which you don't like it, that's fine. Okay, but why get so mad about it? You know, like that shouldn't exist. There are people that think Sleep Token they don't want them to be successful. It's weird. They're the first band to come along in maybe a freaking decade to really like hit me, you know? What else? Let's see. What else music can I give you? Hold on. You know I love music, right, guys? It's hard for me to get through a stream without giving you some music. Here we go. Here we go. That's good stuff right there. You disappoint me. Maybe you're better off this way. Oh, that's good stuff. Just to let you know what I'm all about, okay? What I'm all about, right? There you go. I tell you what, I'll play a little bit of this one for you. And this is a band you've probably never heard. And I can't, like, good luck finding this, like the songs are on YouTube, but like finding the actual group or the band, it's kind of tough. But I like this song. Hold on, here we go.
Is this a gesture of love?
Now that sounds a little R&B, but hold on.
In my head. When the sky cracks tonight, you'll be right by my side. Screaming into the void, it makes me drown with wisdom. And I can't
The name of this band is Breakaway. That's with 2 Ks and a period between away and break.
seem to find why you came to my life. Fucking up everything I've done, hoping I'll see you again. I'll see you when the night comes. I'll see you when the night
I'll see you when the night comes. That's the name of the song.
comes. I'll see you when the night comes. Until we crash into the morning. I'll see you when the night comes. I'll see you when the night comes. I'll see you when the night.
Okay, I saw some better gothic song. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. All right. I know I lost a few of you with my music love. Everybody's got their own music taste, right? That's it. Let's see. Lee, better gothic song, Cry Little Sister or Black Number One? I don't. Black Number One's not ringing a bell, but Cry Little Sister, yeah, that's legendary for sure. Scott Lauderdale, how are you doing, man? Nice to see you. Okay. Did you guys hear about the theater that had the ceiling fall during Final Destination? Let me let's read through that story real quick, because that's pretty insane, and then we'll go to the funnies. All right, hold on. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. And you know what's funny is I heard another story a few months ago about a theater ceiling falling. So this is becoming a trend, and people are going to start getting scared to go to the movies. And let me ask you guys this. Is your local theater, what kind of shape is your local theater? Do you have a theater that's like in your town that's like just really run down? You kind of dread going to it, but it might be the only theater showing the movie that you want to see. Do you guys have a theater like that? Luckily in Orlando, we have freaking a spectrum. We got raggedy looking, nasty theaters all the way to pure IMAX theater that's like freaking massive and great seating. We pretty much have a spectrum here. But when I lived in Clovis, New Mexico, not to throw any shade at Clovis, New Mexico, but Jesus, that theater, we had one theater. That town had one theater, one Walmart, a Pizza Hut, and a lot of depression. It was rough living in Clovis, New Mexico. I was stationed there for a couple years, and I could not wait to get out of there. It's just nothing there. You had to go to either Lubbock, Texas, or Amarillo, Texas, to get to any kind of great shopping, I guess, civilization. And we would do that, like on not every weekend, but we would often make that drive, an hour and a half drive each way, to just go to an actual legit mall and to have a little bit of fun. Because Clovis, man, that was a depressing town. But this theater, that they had 6 movies showing, and forget about it. Like, you're only going to get like the top upper crust from the biggest studios. That's all you get. You don't get any kind of independent film. You don't get any kind of special engagements. No way in hell you're going to get an advanced screening of anything. It was brutal. And when you'd go into the theater, the screen had like cardboard, every time I went, cardboard boxes lined up in front of the screen, like just kind of like somebody was using the like under the screen for storage. And it really took you out of the experience. You know, when you go to the movie theater, when those lights go down, all you want to see is that screen, and you want to be immersed into that world. And it was hard to get immersed when you were in Clovis, New Mexico. It was just bad. And I wouldn't be surprised if a ceiling or two have fallen in Clovis. Okay. Ceiling collapses on woman during Final Destination screening. A birthday movie night turned into a real-life horror scene when a chunk of ceiling reportedly collapsed on a woman during a screening of Final Destination Bloodlines. Talk about art imitating life. Fiamma Villaverde, a 29-year-old woman from Berisso, Argentina. So this was not in the States. Visited a local movie theater in La Plata to celebrate her birthday with her 11-year-old daughter and a friend on May 19th. They chose to watch the Final Destination film because the tickets were cheaper than usual. Maybe it was a dollar theater or something. We hadn't planned on going to the movies. It was my birthday. We were out walking and passed by the cinema. Shall we go? And things took a terrifying turn when a piece of the ceiling fell during the screening. Oof, that's rough. Can you imagine that? You go to the theater to have some fun, get away from it all, and then you freaking leave and you gotta go to the hospital. It's insane. So let me read some of your comments, all right? Let me go back over here to the main. Okay. Let me read some of your comments. Let me see what you guys are saying, okay? My local theater is old, but they remodeled it. Scott says, I remember a while back when a roof of a club collapsed during a metal show. I think it was a Morbid Angel show. You are bringing up memories, Scott, because I'm sure a lot of you guys remember back in, I want to say 2003, somewhere. No, I think it was 2001. There was a disastrous fire at a Great White show in... I think it was Rhode Island. I want to say Rhode Island. But yeah, and like 100 people died. And you can find videos of it on YouTube, man. It's sad. Even one of the members of Great White died in that fire. But I saw Great White in concert. They opened for Kiss back in the 90s, like in early 90s when I saw them. And so I remember reading that story the morning after. And I was just like, wow, that's just insane. And I guess... You know, I don't remember if they got approval to use the pyro or not, but I know that there was some back and forth on that. Like it was said that they shouldn't have used the pyro because it was inside. The insulation was way out of code. And yeah, so you can find the video of when they start doing the song, and then almost within like freaking 15 seconds, the place just starts erupting into flames. Pretty crazy. And man, if you watch, like, there's documentaries about it, family members talking about the horrific experience. Because another problem was the exits. Like, there was an exit behind the stage where that probably could have saved at least half of the people that died. But from what I hear, like, I guess the managers or something like that, they were telling people, no, do not go this way. And so everybody had to pretty much funnel out this one exit. And of course they freaking bottlenecked. And the horrific thing was from testimonies of people outside of the club, and they were talking about how they literally had to watch. It's almost like, one of those like meat grinders that, you put your like hamburger meat in and it comes out like shredded on the other side. It was like people were lodged in the doorway, and it like a meat grinder, and they were trying profusely to get out, but they couldn't. And so, they all so there were like really like bodies just like hanging out the doorway. Pretty crazy stuff. Are you guys getting ads? I put it for like the lowest, like conservative ads. Hopefully you guys aren't getting too many ads. Cobra Kai family. Lee, do you have any interest in the Walking Dead spinoff? No, not really. I just, and that's kind of what's kept me away from watching like Last of Us. And I have seen a few of the episodes of Last of Us. I know it's a controversial show. Everybody's freaking being horrible to Bella Ramsey. Just, Yeah, and I'm not talking about the show. Yeah, maybe they should have cast somebody. I like it when they cast somebody that looks similar to the character. I'm not saying that she's perfect in the role, but I think just the brutality that's like being, thrust upon her. Hopefully she deleted her all her social media, because it's just, you go on social media and it's just brutal. It's brutal. And she's I think she's like 20 or something like that. But, it's a tough life. But, back to your question, I used to really enjoy Walking Dead. But it felt like, to me, it just got repetitive. And it was hard for me to just stay on board, if I'm being honest, because they kept recycling the same plot. And eventually they were like, oh, shit, we need to kill somebody. And so then, and I remember being really pissed off because they would fake deaths, like they made you think that Glenn died. And I think there were quite a few times where you were like, okay, just fucking kill him. And I'm nothing against Glenn. Stephen Yeun's awesome. But when you keep dangling that carrot, and then they finally eventually did kill him, just like out of the graphic novel. But, and I think Negan's a great character for sure. But, yeah, it was just hard for me to stay on. A lot of the episodes were throwaway episodes. And so jumping into any of those spinoff shows, and I haven't watched them, so I don't really qualify as an opinion on it. But those shows, Last of Us, to me, they all kind of have the same feel, It's the same time. And I know you could throw back, hey, slasher movies are kind of the same story. And you're right. So what do I know? But I don't know. I think slasher movies, you got a different killer every time. You can have like different characters. But yeah, that's just me. And maybe I'm just not like a zombie nut. Like I like some zombie movies for sure. But I guess I like 28 years, the 28 series. That's my favorite like zombie series. So yeah. I quit walking. Leo says, I quit watching Walking Dead in season 4. The comics were way better. Yeah, and I think I jumped off after, I think, the first or second season after Negan. Okay. Are you guys getting a lot of ads? Hopefully you're not. All right, now let's go to the funnies, okay? I know I take forever. All right. I guess should we start from the top? We'll do this one, though. When it's a school day and you got to sell a 75 Cutlass Supreme by $3.45. By the way, guys, I tell you, these days, Facebook's a different beast than it used to be. Like, Facebook is mostly filled with, like, funnies, if I'm being honest. And I see so many, like, freaking Last of Us memes on there, making fun of Bella. Yeah, it doesn't ruin my day or anything. I feel bad for her, but yeah. Now, some of these will be informational. You know what? And this is a good time to jump into here. Hold on. Quick little plug for my wife's book. Yeah. Limited time on Amazon right now. And I'll tell you that the price is going to go up to $12.99 eventually. But the sales have been really good on the new book. I've been getting a lot of pictures from you guys. Here's one right here. This is Jeff Burdett on, I think this was on Killer Flicks. He sent me, I think he posted it in Killer Flicks. He got the book. I got a lot of where people would just take a picture of the book. And if you take a picture of yourself in front of the book, that's even better because I love showing that type of stuff off. This was a student in freaking Indiana that's got the book, which I thought was really cool. A teacher bought a whole bunch of books for her whole class. And they're reading the book, and it's freaking awesome. It's a children's book. Somebody asked me too, like, Lee, what's the age range for this book? Pretty much all children can read this book. There's like really nothing, it's not even PG-13. It's straight up like a PG type book. So there's nothing bad in it or anything. It's a great little children's story, and it's a full novel size, right? I think it's like a couple hundred pages or something like that. But you got a protagonist that has a disability. She has seizures, and the seizures sent her into another dimension. So it's a cool idea for a story. And, and having a disabled protagonist, I think, it's inspiring. So, Yeah. So that's my little. You go on Amazon right now and you type in Delilah versus the Ghastly Grim. Yeah, there's what it looks like. Delilah versus the Ghastly Grim. You go on Amazon and leave a review. Do me a favor. If you read the book, leave a review. Those always help. But yeah, we've been getting consistent sales on the book, getting a lot of great feedback. We're getting, I think we got 7 reviews now. Last I checked, I think yesterday. All of them 5 stars on Amazon, which is cool. So, okay. So now, I always have to have some kind of kiss meme. And this isn't really funny, but you know, there's a few Kiss pages, like Facebook groups out there, and this one says Eric Carr, Paul Stanley, and Mark St. John, and Eric Carr and Mark St. John are not in that photo. That's like one of the earliest images of Kiss, and you know it's early because Paul Stanley's not even wearing the star makeup, and the story behind that, and I can hold on. Yeah, the story behind that is. Paul Stanley, he originally did the star on his eye, and his manager, was it Bill O'Coin? I think Bill O'Coin told him, "Hey, why don't you try because he thought he was a little bit too feminine," which Paul Stanley was like, "What?" But he says, "I'm a team player. Okay, I'll try a different makeup style." And then he started telling him, "Okay, I like the new makeup. Now, can you kind of walk like a caveman?" And Paul Stanley was like, "Okay, I'm done. Fuck this." And so he went back to the famous star, which we all know and love. But yeah, for a brief second, he had that makeup style. You know, I don't know what you'd call that. It's like looks like wings or something like that. I don't know. And we were just talking about Sleep Token. So there you go, the new Pope. Hear Me Out, the new Pope. And I would be for it, you know? Vessel as the new Pope, it could work. But to get him to talk would be a tough thing, though, because he won't, like, they don't do any interviews or anything. They kind of got it made, if you think about it. Because they don't have to show their face, so they can go out in public. And to make it, they don't have to do interviews to promote an album. Like most bands that show themselves, and 99% of them show themselves, when they put out an album, they got to go out and they got to do all these interviews and everything, and they got to go to like freaking signings and record stores. Sleep Token doesn't have to do any of that because that's part of their thing. Is, you know, they're a band. The music does the talking, and the, you know, the band, they step behind the mask. It's funny, I didn't plan that, but you got 2 masked bands starting off the Funnies, Kiss and Sleep Token. So there you go. Polly, how are you doing? Next one. Can you explain this gap in your resume? The gap in my resume. Be honest. Do any of you guys have that gap in your resume? Did you have a dark year? We've all had a dark year, you know, a gap in our resume. Trying to find ourselves. Who knows? Chris says he did. There you go. Terrifying movie. Here we go. All right, hear me out. Listen. Netflix, this is real, okay? Netflix has a movie, May the Devil Take You, that is said to be the scariest movie ever made. Oh, brother, here we go. They've tried this one before. First off, Netflix is your first red flag, but I'll keep reading. The film is so terrifying that the people turning it off before finishing it. 1 out of 100 were able to watch the full film. 1 out of 100. Challenge accepted. Of those 99 that didn't, 45% reported pooping their pants, with 67% of them saying they just ate Taco Bell before watching the film. Is this like an Onion story? I don't know. Now, Taco Bell's like, what the fuck did I do? I got nothing to do with this movie. So did they leave the movie because they were scared? Or did they leave the movie because they just ate Taco Bell? You know? That's the twist. That's the twist at the end of this story. Taco Bell sent them to the toilet. And so what is the moral of this story? Is 99 out of 100 people that eat Taco Bell will shit their pants. That's the moral of the story. Okay, we got through it. Tuludon says, I didn't even watch the film, and I still shit myself after Taco Bell. Okay. Taxi Driver, here we go. Me watching the Taxi Driver tell me about how he graduated and studied the same course I'm studying. I don't know why I find that funny. Sometimes these are just for me. They're not even for you. They're for me. I got a chuckle out of it, so I figured, hey, I'll share it with you guys. But I guarantee 99 out of 100 will not laugh. But how many of you will shit your pants? And then you're going to ask me, well, is Taco Bell involved? There you go. Stay with me now. Stay with me. All right. Stupid comments. Jason Nike sent this to me. He said, this is our boy Lee when he has to deal with stupid comments at least a few times a month. At least a few times a month. And it's funny too, like, there are people I don't go around broadcasting that I have a YouTube channel to strangers, to even friends that I work with, coworkers. I would even say, I think most of the coworkers I have don't know that I have a YouTube channel. It's not something I broadcast. But, those that do, and they're just kind of, scratching the surface, they're not like really watching my stuff. If I even like mention, like a troll, like a troll comment, like sometimes I'll post troll comments on like Facebook, my Facebook page. And I'll get comments in there like, hang in there, man. like it bothered me. And, they think it, but they don't realize that's just part of the game. Especially once you get to a certain level, you pretty much have to, deal with trolls. And none of them bother me whatsoever. Like, even in this like last video, and I knew this would happen, and when I did Mission Impossible, I just reviewed Mission Impossible. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I thought, should I even tell the story of why I had to leave early? Because I knew that I would get some, I don't know if you call them troll comments, but there's always naysayers. There's always people that like to dig at you. And like one of them was like, your wife's probably a Karen or something like that. Or, just saying really rude comments. So, I thought, I was like, should I even share the story? But I was like, what? I already posted it in my community page. Hey, I had to leave, so I don't want to leave everybody hanging. And 99% of the comments were like, that's what I would have done too. And I did say in the video, there's 10 different ways you could have dealt with this situation. And I'll even quickly for those of you that didn't watch the Mission Impossible review, basically in a sentence or two, we had to leave the theater early. There was this guy sitting next to my wife, and he started like at the end of the movie, pretty much the scene where Tom Cruise is hanging from the plane. He just starts shaking profusely, and it wasn't like there were a few people mentioned like, was he having a seizure? I've seen seizures before. My granddaughter has seizures, so it was more of a controlled type of thing. You can tell when somebody's having a seizure because they don't have control over their bodily functions. Even like their movements. Whereas this gentleman, he was, I think it was for a different reason, but it felt controlled. It didn't feel like he didn't have control. He was still like upright, and he was looking at the screen, but his whole body was just shaking. And it was weird. It was just very strange, and my wife felt unsafe. That's pretty much what it came down to. Okay, if you watch the video, I kind of go more into detail about it and everything, but we got out of there, and I told the manager, because I wanted if the guy's having a medical issue, I want him to be seen. So I told the manager, But of course, some people in the comments were like, "Am I supposed to like, make, check in with the guy while I'm sitting there while my wife's petrified?" No, I made the choice to let's just get out of here, and then let me let the manager know, and then they can go check on it. Okay, so yeah. Aaron says, were you able to somehow see the last 10 minutes of the new Mission Impossible? No, but I will say my buddy Dan, who was sitting on the other side of me, he called. I texted. This is part of the story I didn't tell. I texted Dan on my way home because I wanted to make sure everybody was okay. I told the manager, I did my part, manager, but I still do, I didn't know what was going to happen. It was this guy having a medical issue. Was he going to try to do something in the theater? I didn't know. And it was possible in my mind. So I texted Dan. I was like, call me when you get out. Okay. Call me when you get out. And he called me and thankfully nobody was hurt. He was okay and everything. But Dan told me I was like, Dan, what happened in the last 10 minutes of the movie? Okay. And he told me what happened. So, but he was like, dude, you should just go back and rewatch the movie tomorrow. And I was like, it's a 3-hour movie, which I liked, but I might just wait until it comes on VOD. And probably, by the way, guys, Paramount Plus has all the Mission Impossible movies right now. Okay. So I've been going through all of them in nice, beautiful 4K. Somebody brought up a good point, and I know I'm just stream of consciousness here, but about physical media. There was a guy that messaged me today on one of my socials, and he basically stated that, and this is something I never thought about. This is about physical media. He has an Amazon account, and I guess something happened, and his Amazon account just was gone. I don't remember exactly. I'm sure he told me, but it's pretty much he could not get into his Amazon account. Maybe it was hacked. I don't know. He had a catalog of, let's say, probably a couple hundred movies. Every single one of those movies are gone. He has no way to get them back unless he's able to get access to his Amazon account again. But in his words, no, it's gone. His Amazon account is gone. And I was just like, whoa, that's something I never even thought about. And I remember there was a YouTuber that I was friendly with years and years ago. He doesn't do YouTube anymore. But I remember kind of talking with him offline a couple of times because he just stopped doing YouTube. And I asked him, I was like, hey, what happened? And he used his Gmail account, his work Gmail account for his YouTube. And so when he left that job, he lost the email. And this doesn't have anything to do with physical media, but it does kind of have something to do with, our digital footprint. When he left the job, he lost the Gmail. So his mistake was not setting up his YouTube account on his personal Gmail. So scary stuff, especially when I think he had a few thousand subscribers, and to just lose it all, whew, that would be rough. And I'm just thinking out loud here too, guys. If you're ever if you have a YouTube account and you're doing pretty well, you got some subscribers. If you ever have just a really, 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 really bad day or bad moment in your life, and it feels like the entire world is just falling on you, you might have the thought to delete your YouTube account because maybe YouTube has a little bit of something to do with that. Never do it. Never do it until you have a clear mind. Never make any big decision when you're emotional or when you're angry or when you're depressed. Never make any big decision. Never cancel any, major event or thing. Or maybe not that, but you know what I mean? Just something that you might regret down the line. Yeah, don't do that, because I've been low. We've all been low, right? And I literally have had a moment where I was like, should I even stop doing this? And this was years and years ago, but I thought I literally had my YouTube account open. I literally had the delete button right there at my fingertips, and I almost hit delete because my world was just crashing down and I didn't know how to deal with it. And thank God I took a step back and I was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that because you might regret it. You might not regret it, but right now is not the time to make that decision. I don't know how I ended up getting from the Incredible Hulk to this, but it happened. So, yeah. Don't do that, though. Don't do that. And to even expound on that, I had a coworker when I started this job that I work at now. He had a bad day, a really, really, really bad day. And it was a week and a half to the job. He was training me and everything. And he got into a big argument with the boss. And he calls me up and he says, I'm quitting. I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm sick of this. And I said his name. I said, do not do that. Do not quit your job on the day you're pissed off. Always wait a day or two. Wait until you have a clear head, because you might regret it. And he did. He literally quit his job on that day because he got into an argument with the boss and had it out with her in front of a customer, which you never do. And what happened? The very next day, he calls up the person above her and he says, can I have my job back? And that's got to be humbling. And they did not give him his job back. So the moral of the story, never make a big decision when your world is crashing down. Never do that. Or when you're just extremely angry. Never do it. Never do it. So, yeah. Okay, next one. Listen to your Uncle Lee. Okay. All right. Jacob Tilton, how you doing? He says, I'm late, but Halloween Ends is great. And I saw the Thunderbolts today and loved it. Yeah, Thunderbolts is really fun. It's really fun. And it's a nice little side type deal for, it's small. It felt like a smaller movie for the MCU because we're going to start getting into some like big stuff, like Avengers stuff. So yeah, I dug it. I thought it was really fun. Unique even. Okay. Strawberries. The next one's called Strawberries. The strawberries in my fridge watching me grab the pizza. I think we can all relate to this. Some of you might not even have strawberries in your fridge, but if you do, they look like that usually. Okay. Next one. Slasher and Suits. He says, I had that with my physical media happen to me. My car was stolen and I had all my CDs and movies in a CD jacket, and it was all punk stuff and horror movies. Yeah, that sucks too. And that's the flip side of it too. I guess, if you want to do tit for tat with physical media, if you lose that physical media, then yeah. But funny enough, it's move out season in an apartment. And one of the residents where I work, sometimes they'll just leave all their stuff behind or half their stuff behind. And I guess they just take the bare necessities. And this guy left a freaking crate, this massive, let's say 3 foot wide by 6 foot long crate. And it was filled with CDs. And some of them were new. And I didn't have time to go through them. I ended up freaking throwing them away. But yeah, I mean, he probably had, I don't know how many thousands of dollars worth of CDs just in that crate. It's crazy how much people that is one of the negatives about physical media, is that, finding space, because the catalog just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it takes up so much space. And funny enough, that's part of what killed the video store. Part of it was, if you guys have seen the Quentin Tarantino interview on, I think it's Joe Rogan, one of his interviews with him, he was talking about how there was he used to work at a video store before he, broke out, became a famous director. And he said part of the reason why the store had a really tough time staying open was because new stuff would come in week after week after week. And so that doesn't mean that stuff that's already out there on the floor just vanishes. And so he started running out of space in the store to put the stuff. And so have you ever gone into one of those mom and pop video stores, and you see a lot of the shelves, they're a little cluttered looking, and everything's kind of like let me grab something here. Hold on. Yeah, so everything is you see that. You don't see the front, just, usually they'll be displayed like that. You don't see that. You see everything kind of because they're trying to save space. And so they just fill all the shelves. And so when you're looking for a movie, it's harder to find the movie because everything's just so jammed up close together. That was one of the problems, I think, with physical media. For, I think, people that sold physical media, people that rented it out, you know, not saying the customer. We all love our collections. I got a freaking massive collection right in here. Love all my VHS that's back there. I got a big vinyl collection. I'm the last guy to bitch about physical media. I've been collecting physical media since the dawn of DVD, since VHS back in the 90s. So, I mean, I remember when VHSs were like $100 a pop, you know? So, I'm not going to sell my freaking collection. You know, don't get me wrong, but I'm just observing how things are and were, you know? But yeah, this is cool, man. I freaking love having, yeah, I remember too, like that right there, you'd see different editions of a movie on VHS come out. And I remember seeing like the contemporary classics, or remember like you got MGM, the top. It was always that little banner at the top. I remember 20th Century Fox, they would have like selections or something like that. I always thought that was kind of a cool thing, you know? Yeah, I love VHS covers. So awesome. Yeah, so I do love my physical media collection. Don't get me wrong, but I don't. If you go into my house downstairs, you won't see any physical media, at least not out. I put everything in drawers. I have these big freaking dresser drawers downstairs. We got one of them. Somebody was throwing it away, and it looked like freaking something from like the early 70s, and the solid wood, and they just put it out on the edge of the road, and we took it. And then we got another one for like $30, and they both, they're freaking beasts. And they have so many, drawers for storage. And so that's where I put all my non-horror Blu-rays. All that stuff's downstairs, and you don't see it out. The only place that you see physical media out is in here, in my studio. I got my VHSs back there, right in front of me here. I got all my Blu-rays and 4Ks, all horror. All my horrors up here. David Thorson, yes. There is definitely a certain feel to VHS. Let me see. What's one of my favorite VHSs that I got? Hold on. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to show you 3 of my favorite VHSs. Hold on. And you got to have that one. All right, show and tell. Here we go. Show and tell. Some of my favorite VHS, of course, the original Halloween. At one time, I probably had 5 different versions of Halloween on VHS. I probably still got 2 or 3. But yeah, this is the Blockbuster edition, which is really cool. Love the back, but man, watching Halloween on VHS on my Jolene over there is always a treat. Some of my favorite VHSs. Here we go. Ooh, continuing with Halloween, might as well go because I love this cover. The Good Times Halloween 2 cover is glorious. I like the green in the background. I like how you see Loomis and Laurie behind the pumpkin on the top. I love the spine. It's really cool. It's just a sweet addition. And these were like, the Good Times version was like half the price of like the normal version. You got the Good Times logo there on the bottom. Look at that. Ugh, so good. This is one of my favorites in my collection, for sure. The Good Time. I got to have the Good Time. Of course, this one. Scream, the original Scream, the original poster cover. I have a couple of variants. I got one variant that's signed by Matthew Lillard when I met him. But this is my favorite. I love one of my favorite movie posters ever is the first Scream. I love that cover. It's so freaking cool. It pops, right? There's almost like a 3D element to it. Like they're standing in front of Drew Barrymore's face. For the longest time, I always wondered, who is that face with her hand over her mouth? I didn't know that it was Drew Barrymore for the longest time. But yeah, it's Drew Barrymore. But the first Scream gets it, I mean, perfectly right. And they all follow suit with this design, but I think the first one does it the best. Love the Scream font on the side. And one thing I did love about VHSs too is how they would have these little, sometimes if you were lucky, they'd have these little featurettes at the beginning of the VHS. You know, it could be, and you didn't know. It was kind of like a nice little surprise. Sometimes it wasn't even something that they would advertise on the back. You know, that's the thing about VHS. That was a bonus. Most of the time on the back, you never saw like special features. It would just give you the studio information, you know, and some images from the movie, the plot synopsis, I guess. But love that. Love that. That is great. I got a couple of copies of Scream though, for sure. Two more of my all-time favorite VHS movies. This is fun. This is fun. Two more. No particular order, okay? The Crow. I have two copies of The Crow. I think I got one. Yeah, I'm looking at it in my old backdrop. There's a Crow back. I got two copies of The Crow on VHS. This is easily one of my favorite movie posters ever. Not just movie poster, but the VHS poster. Because I remember going to the video store, waiting in line when this movie came out for rent on VHS, and this would have been like late '94. And I remember waiting in line, and when I walked in there and I saw that cover, I was like, "That is so badass! That cover is glorious." And remember back in the day, they would always have these like little critic blurbs, these critic lines, spectacular, thrilling, action-packed, a triumph. You know, Chicago Tribune, Los Angeles Daily News, WBA Radio New York, Playboy. Playboy says it's a triumph. But man, that image of Brandon Lee walking into the church, that is got to be one of the most iconic images I've ever seen in my entire life. Still to this day, you can't beat that. And they just came out with the 4K, but nothing will ever top this. Nothing will ever top that cover-wise, artwork-wise. It's just beautiful. Love the font of The Crow. And then on the back, you got Ernie Hudson on there. You got the car blowing up. You got Gideon's pawn shop. The best movie of its kind since the original Batman. I remember they used to use that line to market this movie when it came out. Wow, man. This brings back memories just looking at this. So cool. And I mean, it's hard for me to do a top 5 favorite VHS covers that I have. I think this will be no surprise to you here. This one right here. It's been my banner on my YouTube page for pretty much since the start of this whole thing, 10 years ago. I remember I used to rack my brain because I see all these cool banners that everybody had on their YouTube page. And I was like, damn, I can't do that. How do I make something that cool looking? And then I just happened to be glancing over at my shelf and I saw, I think it was the Blu-ray of Cobra. And I was like, Cobra's like one of my favorite movies. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I just put a movie that I love as my banner? Not necessarily my favorite movie of all time, but it's just a badass looking. That is one of the coolest badass looking action posters ever. And so that's what I did. And it's still to this day, that's my backdrop. And I kind of did a little, if movie reviews is the disease, he's the cure, or a movie discussion or something like that. But yeah, man, this movie, it's so unique. It's so badass. Joe Grant, you're right. Is that Misty? Yeah, this movie is so badass. It's so unique. It's so fun. It's one of those movies that it's got comedy, but you don't know if the comedy was intentional or not. I mean, there's a couple of intentional lines, but there's some of the stuff that you might laugh at in this movie. But wow, you know, I haven't pulled these out and looked at them in a long time. But that car on the background, Jesus, I can't remember the name of that car. My dad would know. My dad knows like any cars before a certain date, he can name them. model and year. Exciting. I can't read that. If you missed Rambo, Cobra is the cure. Yeah. He's like, this is where the law stops and I start. I like in the grocery store, he's like, I'm going to blow this place up, man. He's like, go ahead. I don't shop here. Action movies were a different breed back then, right, guys? Should I show you some more VHS that I love? Are you digging this? Or do you want to do, you tell me, do you want to go back to funnies or do you want to do more VHS love? You tell me. All right, you want VHS? You get VHS. And I'm going to give you a little bonus here, too. Little bonus. All right? I'm going to show you some DVD and some Blu-ray. But a couple VHS, all right? We'll start off with the VHS. And I'm running out of space to put shit. See, that was my point at the beginning of my little discussion. Who cares? All right, so if I had to say my most prized VHS possession because of maybe the condition. Oh man, what did I do with? Damn it. I'm not going to go looking for it, but I do have a signed Exorcist 2 The Heretic VHS by Linda Blair. Maybe I'll post a picture of it on Instagram. That's probably my, as far as signatures go, that's probably my most prized possession. But number 2 would be this one. Sleepaway Camp. Not only is it signed by Felissa Rose, but it's also signed by Catherine Kami, and it's also signed by Catherine Kami and I can't remember the other girl's name. Meg. She played Meg. Yeah, they were all very, very nice, very friendly, and I met them at a convention. I had them all sign this. I bought this VHS for $25 on eBay, with the intention of taking it to that convention and having all 3 of them sign it. 2 Drumdums, meet me at the waterfront. Let's see, and then Catherine Kami, she says 2 Drumdums. The name is Meg, M-E-G. That's what she put. And then Judy, she said, 2 Drumdums, fuck off. So, yeah. Funny enough, I've had 2 celebrities write fuck off. I had, from Halloween 4, Kathleen Kinmont. She signed my box set up there. And she said, fuck off. I had her write fuck off Drumdums because I always put that at the beginning of my streams. Really, really cool, though. Yeah. Awesome. Let me see. Hold on. All right, let me see. I got it right here. Yeah, here we go. Kathleen Kinmont. Look at that. Fuck off Drumdums. Is that thumbnail material? It might be. It might be. For what? I don't know, but I gotta make that a thumbnail for something. Isn't that awesome? So I've had Kathleen Kinmont and Catherine Kami write fuck off to me. That's awesome. Okay. Next one. This is just, this movie, it's not horror, but it's such a big part of my childhood. And, it's a big VHS memory for me too. Rocky IV. Another one of my, I hate to sound like a broken record, but another one of my all-time favorite covers. That is just, that's just iconic. And I wonder, like, I'd love to see, like, the backstory. I mean, we all know the scene at the end of the movie and they snap the photo, but did he know that image was going to be so like iconic. Because, I mean, it's like capturing a moment in time and everything is in the perfect order. And you know how hard it is to catch a photo like that? And it's not about, you know, catching a person in their best light. It's not that type of photo at all. It's about the moment. And, man, this moment right here is so cool. Like, I think Stallone had a big thing about ending his movies on a crescendo, a high note. And that he stated that about the first Rocky. If you watch the first Rocky and how it ended on a high note when Rocky is his happiest. He lost the fight, but it was all about him getting self-respect and him finding the love of his life, Adrian, and then they stop it at that moment. So this is sort of a similar idea here. Yeah, and then on the back you got Russian, fighting the Russian. Man, Drago, it's tough to say because nothing beats Apollo Creed. But I think as far as like an opponent that's just such a force that feels like he's like, this guy's unbeatable. It's gotta be Drago for sure. Chris says, I got a few of the Scary Movie guys to sign my Scary Movie VHS. That's awesome. I saw your picture, Chris, too, with the guy, Diffie. Is it Diffie? Destiny says, some of my personal faves, My Bloody Valentine, Sleepaway Camp, Killer Clowns, Pet Cemetery, and Fright Night. Oh, man, you got a My Bloody Valentine VHS. I'm so jealous, Destiny. Jesus. That gentleman that left behind all those CDs that I was talking about, I did keep one thing in that chest. And this was sealed. This was brand new and sealed. And I actually owned this, like a different version of it. But look at this. This was sealed. An Incredible Hulk, the entire series 1 through 5 of five seasons. And man, this show, that's my childhood right there. But, you know, look at this box set. I noticed like through the years, you know, box sets would get more and more condensed. And that's what they did because I have all 5 seasons individually, and it's probably like, you know, like this big. Here we go. Hold on. Yeah, it's probably like if I stacked them all together, it'd probably be that thick. So they condensed it all down to this, which is really nice. But I haven't even taken the discs out. But yeah. I could not believe he threw these away. That's insane. Okay, and here's the last thing I'll show you before we jump into some more funnies. I have quite a few editions of Friday the 13th, but this one's my most prized for obvious reasons. I love the look of this, the 10-disc set. I remember when this was first announced, and it was a big deal. And it's like, I like these book style. Yeah, like that's what the book looks like. But Kane Hodder signed the book as well. And yeah, you know, not going to show you all of them, but that's kind of what it's, you know, what it's like. You know, and I have the big deluxe box set that Scream Factory put out, but this is my favorite still. This is definitely my favorite. I even have like the replacement discs that they sent because there was a couple of the discs that I think had issues. And so, yeah, they sent in these little replacement discs. Although that's a blank, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Or did they send an actual blank? I've never really like ventured in. I don't know. You know, especially since I got the new box set up there. I don't really watch this one anymore, but you got Amy Steele, Adrian King, and Kane Hodder's signature on the front of that. So, of course, I would never part ways with this. And, man, I've said this before. I think the Friday celebrities are the coolest. I think they are just the friendliest people. Not to take anything away from other franchises. I did meet Ashley Lawrence from Hellraiser, and she was just as nice. She even gave me a hug. She was just the sweetest person. Yeah. All right, so let's go into the funnies. Let me read a couple of your comments here. Okay. Scott Lauderdale says, I have my original VHS pre-special edition of Empire Strikes Back signed by Peter Mayhew. Dude was a really nice guy, and his hands were bigger than my head. I believe that. I have the original trilogy on VHS for Star Wars, but they're not signed, so I envy you, Scott. Chris says, I got choked out by Kane Hodder. Yeah, you know what's funny is Kane, like, I see most of the photos I see of him with other people, he's choking everybody. But for some reason, he didn't choke me. I didn't ask him to choke me, but, you know, I just got a picture alongside him. I don't know. One thing that did surprise me is that Kane Hodder I think he's like 6'2". And I always thought he was one of the shorter Jasons, and I think it's just because he looks so stocky. But when I met him, I was like, oh, wow, he's actually really tall. I'm 6'1", so he's a little taller than me, which was pretty crazy. Most of the time when I'm walking in a crowd, I'm usually like, and I'm not saying that 6'1's like, you know, super tall or anything, but I'm usually like taller than everybody. Blue 5252 says the first box sets were definitely bulky, but super well made. Proud owner of the first edition X-Files Buffy the Vampire Slayer DVD box sets. Yeah, I got the DVD box sets for Buffy too. I don't know if it's a box set, but I have the individual seasons of Buffy, and I used to watch those every few years from time to time. Love Buffy. Rick Michaels, what's up, Rick? He says, I met Corey Feldman in DC last month. He was awesome. Man, I've always wanted to meet Corey Feldman. You know, and you hear different stories about Corey, but I got a feeling he'd be really cool, you know? And I don't judge, I've learned this from going to a lot of conventions, don't judge a celebrity by the first time you meet them. They might be having a really bad day, you know? Like, I've met Danielle Harris 2 different times. One was amazing, she was great, and then one, she seemed like she was a little stressed, a little overwhelmed, you know? So, and I'm not the type of guy that likes to hover over a celebrity. Usually I'm thinking about what I'm going to say to them. And then when I get up to them, I say something small and nice, and I have them sign whatever I'm going to sign. And then I get the hell out of there. I don't want to be like a nuisance to anybody, you know? Let's see. JG Michael says, did you pick up anything from Vinegar Syndrome sale? I picked up Dirty Work, which I've never seen before. No, I'm trying to think. What is the last thing I do know. The last thing I picked up was the Arrow release for Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell. And you know what? You teed me right up. Hold on. I picked up this one too. I ordered all 3 of them together, the remake. And you know what? I started watching the remake again. Just because I wanted to see what the 4K looked like. It looks glorious, by the way. But I started watching this again, probably like an hour before the stream started. I just wanted to throw something on. I pretty much got to the title card, you know? And I'm going to admit, I think I'm a little hard on this movie. I was really enjoying it. Maybe I wish that the first group that got killed, I think I would have liked it if they stayed the main characters. But and the reason I'm watching this again, aside from I'm wanting to watch the 4K transfer, was that I'm going to do a revisited for it, and I wanted to give it a fresh watch. And I got a feeling that I'm going to be a little softer to this movie by the time I finish it. It looks glorious too, man. It looks beautiful. And Derek Mears, man, what a force. I've never had a problem with Derek Mears. The biggest problem I had with this movie is some of the characters. But, you know, I'm looking forward to finishing it and giving it, you know, so this review will be what I think about it in this moment, you know. Down the line, I might watch it and get annoyed by it again. I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with this movie, if I'm being honest, you know. But man, this Arrow video, God, they sucker me in every time. It's just beautiful. Here you go. I haven't even opened these 2 yet, but since I got you here, yeah, look at these. Jesus. You know, guys, are you the type that you want to open it up immediately, or do you wait until, you know, you're ready to watch it to take it out of the plastic? Because I usually leave it in the plastic until I'm ready to watch it. I don't know why. That's just a thing I do. There's no wrong answer, but, I don't know. I just like to keep it in the plastic until I'm ready to watch it. Chris says he opens immediately. This one was even in the plastic until I finally watched it, and I took it out of the plastic because I wanted to watch the interviews with Marcus Nispel on there. But man, Arrow Video, wow. And I think it gets Scream Factory. We all have our favorites. Thank God for Scream Factory. They're saving a lot of great deep cut movies. But man, there's just something classy. Guys, what's the word I'm looking for? Is that the right word? Is Arrow just the classier? Like they're taking Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell, two movies that are cheeseburger cinema, and they're giving him the 5-star treatment. It's just, I get suckered in. Do you guys get suckered in? I get suckered in. Oh man. Kevin Munn says, my box set I bought for my birthday is all 11 seasons of MASH, including the original movie. After watching all the episodes, I love MASH to death. Cannot beat a good TV series. I love a lot of those 80s TV shows, Kevin, like Simon and Simon. That theme song for Simon and Simon is one of the most infectious freaking theme songs ever. Taffer says he waits until he watches. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I just like, and I got, look at this, guys. I bought 2 of these, still sealed. Trick or treat. If you didn't get this, you might be foaming at the mouth right now, okay? Still sealed. And you can see behind me there, finger, boom, right it is right there. That one's open because I watched it. And this movie's never looked that great. And I have the bootleg that you can get off of eBay up there. But, man, that's the best it's ever looked. The best it's ever looked. Blu-ray Addict, how you doing? Yeah. House of Horror says, I seen that about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003 and the beginning. Those are going to be a good release. Yeah. So those are coming to Arrow, huh? I'm going to be on those day one. Let me look that up. Hold on. House of Horror, you got me thinking about it. Give me a second, guys. I want to look that up. All right. Arrow 4K. The beginning. Let's see. Dawn of the Disc. Is it Dawn of the Disc that said that? Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Let me get you guys over here. Yeah. Wow. Coming to 4K in August from Arrow Video. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning, Limited Edition 4K. Do we have a date? Let's see. Do we have a date for Texas Chainsaw 2003? Here we go. Chris, I saw you talking about these. I was watching your stream earlier. Good stuff. Yeah, you got Friday Night 2. Man, Hello, Mary Lou and Last Kiss. I'll be all over those for sure. Yeah, are these Synapse? Yes, Synapse. I love Synapse too. Synapse does some great stuff for sure. The House with Laughing Windows. So do we have a confirmation on Texas 2003 getting a 4K release? Let me see. Hold on. I'm looking for it. Hold on. Maybe you guys know. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, guys. Help me out. Is that official? Let's see. Hold on. I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning, will have both cuts of the movie on 4K. The stupid characters in Friday 2009 totally kills the movie. And that's, maybe it's my mood. Like sometimes I don't mind them as much, and then sometimes I'm wanting to throw pickles at my screen. So I agree with Drumtum there, Chris, no confirmation yet, but it was teased by someone who works at Arrow. Okay, cool. I mean, you can't put out the beginning without putting out 2003. That's the perfect double feature, right? Yeah, that's the perfect double feature for sure. Yeah. Allie girl, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Seeing some channel members in here. JG Michael. And we got 10 new channel members on the last Hit the Bricks. Thanks to Liana, which was really cool. And I always update that card for the channel members. I appreciate my channel members, my patrons. You guys are beautiful. I love you guys. I want to take this relationship to the next level. I think it's awesome. Okay? So happy Sunday to you, Allie girl, for sure. Chris says they're both coming. Christian did an interview with Cliff. Yeah, I didn't have time to watch the video yet, but I know he did an interview with Cliff for sure, which is really cool. Really cool. So yeah, I'm really picky. Like somebody was asking earlier, like I'm not the type that buys everything. And maybe it's a space thing, or maybe it's just I'm really picky with what I like to buy, because I think part of it too is that having time to watch everything that I want to watch has been tough lately, because I get these screeners, press screenings that I go to every week. And then I got freaking life outside of that, and just making time to watch movies, I don't get it as much. So unless if it's something that I really want to own and there's like a limited run of it, like they did with Trick or Treat, then yeah, I'll take the plunge. Of course, Friday the 13th, I had to jump all over that. Arrow seduces me every time. So, but yeah, I don't buy everything. If anything, I try to I shrink down as much as I can. Because I'm not gonna lie, I do. There's a convenience factor to it, and I'm throwing stuff on the TV. And sometimes I just want to kind of just go to the movie on, like Paramount Plus or Netflix, and I've been watching, like, Apple TV has really been knocking it out of the park lately. Do you guys watch Apple TV? And there's shows that I don't even plan on watching that I end up jumping into, like Your Friends and Neighbors, the one with John Hamm's really good. The Studio with Seth Rogen. I love that, like, shows that are kind of based on the behind the scenes of movie making. Whether it's a comedy or a drama or whatever. If you like that stuff, then watch The Studio. It's funny. And just to give you an idea, like, they were talking about the Barbie movie. And this, just to give you an idea of how preposterous studio execs can be in Hollywood, that they get inspired by other things. Barbie made a lot of money, so now let's make a Kool-Aid movie. And so there's a whole, like, plot going on around them trying to make a Kool-Aid movie, and it's hilarious. But I think Apple TV might be my favorite streaming service for TV shows right now. Severance, yeah, Blu-ray Addict. Severance, The Studio, Platonic, and Your Friends and Neighbors are all great shows, and there's a lot of great stuff to keep you occupied. Severance, man, that's phenomenal TV. Each episode looks like a freaking movie. It's very thought-provoking, great stuff. So, yeah. Brett, thanks for stopping by, man. Says, going to get my mom caught up on Jurassic Park for the new movie. Have a great night, everyone. You too, Brett. You too. Damn, it's already... We started at like almost 2 hours ago? All right, let's do some more funnies. Let's go to some more funnies, all right? Okay. Snow White Shining says the original. I like this because the verbiage here is kind of witty. The original Shining came out in 1980, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on the murder story with a guy who literally stalks his family with an axe. Weird. I like how they took segments from that interview and throwed it in there. Yeah, it made me laugh. If your dad's hair had hair like this, then you've got siblings you've never met. It's pretty much true. Okay. I grew up a child of the 70s, born in the 73. I saw a lot of men with this hairstyle. Okay. And I did go to church. I come from like a religious family, and my dad was a preacher. He didn't have his own church, but every church that we would attend, for some reason, he would end up preaching. And I always saw this hairstyle at least by half a dozen men, in the churches that I would attend. And I'm sure they had extended families, okay, because they were just very seductive, okay? Conway Twitty. Next one. We'll run through these, okay? Just a fun little AI alternate ending to the Titanic. Screw you, Rose. Can't get enough of that. The Truth 31. Hello, Drumdums. What's a horror film that had a great concept but was a terrible film you would like to see remade? Ooh, I've had this question before. It's tough. Terrible film that should be remade. Well, I would say Jason from Sinister Cinema Reviews. Damn you. He said you got to watch this movie from the late 80s called Doom Asylum. And usually I trust Jason. Not this time. That movie was absolutely atrocious. Horrible. Bad acting, bad lighting, bad frame. Everything in that movie was just really, really bad. And it looked like they spent $1.37 on the budget of this movie. It is the first movie of Kristen Davis from Sex and the City. She went on to do great things. This is her first movie. But the movie itself, whoa, it's so bad. Doom Asylum. So the idea, though, is that you got this killer in this asylum, and these group of teenagers end up at the asylum, and you guessed it, he kills them. That's a fun idea that you could do. And it definitely has as far as the killer goes, there's a unique style to the killer. So that could be a fun remake for sure. So yeah. But woof, what a bad movie. Really bad. And I like deep cuts. I love deep cuts. I've found many a gem. Not this case. Not this time. No. Okay. Speaking of AI, Sarah Connor watching you use AI for everything. She's pissed. She can't deal with it anymore. Okay. Next one. More AI. That's crazy right there. It's insane what AI can do. That's Rocky doing a selfie after he just knocked down Drago, which is pretty cool. The Burning would be a fun remake. Thank you, Davey. For sure. The Burning would be a fun remake. Okay. Predator over marriage. Scientific study says that marriage is not as good as Predator, says most men. Here's Tom with the weather. According to a recent survey, marrying the perfect woman is still nowhere as good as watching Predator. It's true, damn it. And to flip that, I'm sure that there's a meme out there for women, the women folk, where they'll say that marriage can't compare to watching Dirty Dancing, okay? Or pick your, ladies, what's a movie that's better than marriage? You give me, okay? We'll even the playing field here, okay? But for men, it's Predator, all right? They did tests, okay? They did scientific tests on this, all right? It's scientific. It's better than marriage. Damn it. Okay. A gay guy once told me that Predator is the gayest horror movie ever made. Well, you could say that pretty much all action movies in the 80s were the gayest movies ever made, okay? So Alley Girl says Varsity Blues. Thank you for evening. Candyman, Polly says, evening the playing field. Evening it. Evening? Is that evening? You say that? Even the playing field? I don't know. Words are hard, damn it. Okay. This would be, I love a good practical joke, and this one would be excellent. If I ran NASA, it would be mandatory for the ground crew to be dressed as apes when the space shuttle lands. That would be the greatest practical joke ever. And how long could you take it? How far could you push it? Can you push it for days and make them oh shit, we have literally landed on another planet? What did the apes do? Damn it. Yeah. Davey says, my marriage was so bad that there are thousands of movies better than it. Hey, he said it so I could say it out loud. Okay. Yeah. All right. Is Chuck Norris... Could Chuck Norris beat Thanos' ass? Of course he could. Okay? There you go. That's his boot imprint on the Balchinian. Okay? Yeah. All right. Next one. Running through. Okay? This is a classic book. There is no mystery. My cat thinks you're a piece of shit. There's got to be a book that's titled that. That's got to be real. Okay? And because I guarantee you that line has been uttered by a woman that has a rough run in the dating field. Okay? My cat thinks you're a piece of shit. So there you go. All right, next one. Movie questions. Sometimes I don't even know what these are. What could it be? Movie questions. Oh, here we go. Yeah. I'm poking at the opposite sex, and I don't intend to. Okay, guys? My husband looking at me after I asked 47 questions about a movie we both currently are watching for the first time. This is me. This is definitely me when watching a new movie with my wife at home. You know? Not so much lately, because we're both busy. But I remember, you know, with the kids growing up and everything, and we'd watch a movie, and I could say this about my daughter too. Not my son. Me and my son, when we watch a movie, we're quiet. We don't say a word, not a peep. The ladies in the house, though, Jesus. My wife and my daughter, especially my daughter, I don't think she'll mind me saying this. Man, she wanted to freaking do a running commentary through the entire movie. Brand new movie, she would do that, you know? So, but that's the perfect that's the face I made right there. Like, why are you asking me this question? Guys, have you heard of this band? I found this great band, okay? Name one Motley Crue song other than Panama. Which way are we going? Are we going this way? Or I don't know. Is it this way? Or is it this way? I can't remember. Davey, help me out here. Okay? Are we going that way? Or are we going that way? I don't know. Name one. Can you just answer the question? One Motley Crue song other than Panama. Okay? And there's the band. All right. We're going this way? Okay, cool. Just checking. All right. I actually like the funnies more than you guys do, okay? This is selfish on my part, but I make no apologies, all right? You can I have a good time with the funnies, okay? That's my aunt. It's true. Your aunt looks like Sylvester Stallone from Rambo 3. Am I right? Okay. Or Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon. Pick your poison. Okay. Metallica, brother. There you go. This song's called Nothing Else Matters, Brother. Don't forget to say your prayers and take your vitamins. Let's go! So close, no matter how far. Yeah. Okay. I'm losing my mind. Mentally and physically. I don't know what this means. Okay. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Are any of you this pie? Yeah, help. Mentally and physically, I am this pie. That's me. That's definitely me. Okay? To hell with the devil. That's right, Davey. That's on my playlist. Don't you make me do it. Shit. Hold on. It's in my playlist here. Let me see if I can find it. There's Saint Anger. I got a couple of Saint Anger songs in there. Man, too many songs in this playlist. I need to break it up. It's hard to find anything. Oh, here it is. Here we go. Wow, Ollie, you saw them in concert too? I've always wanted to see Stryper in concert. I've seen some live footage. Yeah, he still has pipes. Michael Sweet. And Robert Sweet was like one of my first like drumming influences. Loved his drum set with the chains. We got to get to the chorus.
Just a liar and a thief. The world tells us so. We like to live with
Where he can go. Everybody get the fuck up.
to hell with the devil. To hell with the devil.
Hell yeah, that song rocks. That's such a great song. Still rocks. Okay, next one. Another AI selfie. Yeah, legend selfie. I can't believe I can't believe Neil Peart's gone. Freaking Ronnie James Dio, Eddie Van Halen. I think they should have done Eddie Van Halen like the younger version of, because that's just when he was like, he was always iconic, but Cliff Burton and Dimebag. James Palmore. James Palmore sent me this right before the stream. So I wanted to give him a shout out. You can go and you might be able to find this out in the wild. It's a Halloween 2 energy drink. I didn't know these existed, but James Palmore sent it to me, and now I have to find one. Okay? That is badass. I would love to have a Halloween 2 energy drink on display in my background. I need that in my life. Okay? Error 001. He says, hey Lee, big fan from Kenya. That's awesome. Long-time subscriber, quick question. Besides horror movies, any other genres of movies you're into? I like psychological thrillers. Prisoners. Oh my God, Prisoners is amazing. Classic. Thanks. Yeah, man, I'm a movie fan first and foremost. And I grew up on like pretty much every genre of movies. I do love a good thriller. Like Prisoners, man, that's a great freaking movie. Denis Villeneuve did that one. I love gangster movies. Two of my favorite movies are like Goodfellas, Casino. Those are just great, like freaking comfort movies for me. In the background, De Palma. I know thrillers kind of lean into horror, but I do love just all types of movies. One of my favorite movies happens to be Whiplash, about the drumming movie. That's an amazing film. I love a good biopic, because I'm such a music fan. One of my favorite biopics is Control, about Joy Division, specifically about Ian Curtis. That's one of my favorite biopics. But yeah, Sexy Beast, that's a movie that I'd love to recommend to you guys that nobody ever talks about, that I think has one of the best villain performances by an actor I've ever seen. Ben Kingsley. He plays this character by the name of Don Logan in Sexy Beast. And he is very chilling and intimidating. What a great movie. With phenomenal acting. Like, wow. Give me great acting in any genre of movie and I'm there. I love movies in general. So, yeah. Lee, best show, Buffy, Supernatural, and why is Angel the best out of the three? Now, I've only watched Buffy. Actually, I've watched Supernatural too. I gotta go with Buffy, but I like Supernatural for sure. Yeah. Let's see. A little bit of everything. Even a good chick flick. Yeah, I love like Fire. I love a good comedy, like Fired Up. Fired Up's really great. Step Brothers, Anchorman. Love all that stuff. But yeah, I do love some good, like, if they're well written, good chick flicks. Yeah, I'm totally down. Davey's seen Sexy Beast. See? Sexy Beast is damn good. Control is amazing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Control, that movie, it gets me every time. And the ending is chilling. Chilling. When you hear the scream of his wife at the end, wow. Insane. Insane. Okay, next one. Ghost. Here we go. Sorry, Patrick Swayze. Ghost could have been a completely different movie, okay? It could have been a horror movie. But they went, speaking of chick flicks, Ghost is one of the best chick flicks ever made. Say Anything, I think, is probably my favorite quote-unquote chick flick. Say Anything is really great. Gene Simmons, here we go. Blondie singer Debbie Harry pictured here with Gene Simmons of Kiss. He had a side hustle of wrestling. Oh, Jesus. I grew up a big Andre the Giant fan, by the way. When Andre the Giant fought Hulk Hogan in WrestleMania, and Hulk Hogan picked him up and body slammed him, wow, that is the stuff of legend. Okay? This is the funniest thumbnail I've ever seen, okay? And I had to share it with you guys. This is from a channel called Pretty Much It, one of my favorite YouTube channels. And they've been around forever, since like maybe the beginning. But that's it. That's the funniest thumbnail I've ever seen. And, you know, there's a lot of competition out there. There's some great funny thumbnails, but nothing beats that. That is an awesome thumbnail, and I had to share it. I thought I love that thumbnail, you know. And that's how you title a video title these days. Never thought I'd make this video. You do that because you want the audience to wonder, like, what video? And then they got to click on it, right? That's how you do it. So Pretty Much It, yeah, man. That's what a great channel. Always loved them. By the way, if you're into like 80s metal, I found this new channel called Guitar Meets Science. And he does, pretty much like video essays on 80s metal. And his most recent episode is on Vinnie Vincent, which I'm obsessed with Vinnie Vincent. Just Vinnie Vincent, like the character as like constant controversy around him. But yet he was like one of the most talented songwriters, guitarist I've ever heard in my life. Everybody has their own, their favorite flavor of musician. When I first heard Vinnie Vincent, I was just like, oh my God, yes. Love his style. Love the way he plays. And I was hooked. And he pretty much brought Kiss back from the dead with Creatures of the Night, and especially Lick It Up. When they took off the makeup. A lot of people don't realize that Vinnie Vincent wrote most of those songs on those two albums. And those happen to be my two favorite Kiss albums. So then he did like Vinnie Vincent Invasion. But yeah, Guitar Meets Science. Check out that channel. Really great stuff. And they talk, if you like 80s metal, man, the guy does a really good job with those 80s metal video essays. Very knowledgeable, Here you go, guys. I saw this one the other day. Friday the 13th Ends. And you got Corey Feldman. Finally, and they got the new Jason design there in the front. So somebody's took some time and put this together. Really great stuff. Yeah, Ollie Girl. Definitely check him out. Guitar Meets Science. Forever, that's off of Hot in the Shade. It's funny. That's a funny story. Forever is really a great ballad. But it just happens to be off of one of Kiss's, I don't want to say worst albums, but the album, as far as like an album goes, it definitely feels like a bunch of stuff thrown together. It doesn't feel like a cohesive album. And Paul Stanley will tell you this. He said when they did Hot in the Shade, it was just everybody throwing in different ideas. And it didn't feel like Revenge, which is a much better album. And when you listen to that album start to finish, it all feels like one meal of an album. Whereas Hot in the Shade just feels like so many different ideas. You got some good songs on there, though, like Hide Your Heart, which is a really catchy Kiss song. But Forever is, that song put them back in the top 10, actually. And it was co-written by Michael Bolton. But now I've read, listen to Paul Stanley's audiobook, guys. I guarantee you, if you listen to Paul Stanley's audiobook, you will listen to it over and over and over again because, man, the guy can tell a story. But he talks about how Michael Bolton really didn't have much to do with that song. He wrote a couple lines, but he didn't care at all. And Paul Stanley did like most of the meat of the writing. And then when the song became a hit, here comes Michael Bolton saying, hey, can you send over a copy of that because I want to sing it in my live shows. And then he took a lot more credit than he should have. That's what Paul Stanley will tell you. Okay, we got to wrap it up here. Freddie's selfie. Yeah, there's Freddie. He's doing a selfie with Nancy. Guys, this is a rare photo of Nicolas Cage as Superman in Superman Lives. But we all know the movie never made it, never saw the light of day. But yeah. And this was the cover of the thumbnail. This was on Deborah Voorhees' sheer horror group. Evil Dead Fuck. Davey will like that one. 2 best side characters ever is Jimmy and Ted. You know, Jimmy and Ted, you cannot beat those two. I don't know if that was an accident, but man, those two just had this chemistry that is just unmatchable. Let's see what else. This is a dated joke, okay? Some of you aren't going to get this. Some of my younger viewers might not get this, but don't be afraid to cut people off. Lorena Bobbitt. Do most of you know who Lorena Bobbitt was? She literally cut her boyfriend's junk off. And I guess he was abusive, you know. And so she went to court about it, and I believe I can't remember what the fallout from that was, but you don't piss off your woman, okay? Because bad things might happen, all right? I still feel that every time I even think about it. Man. Those are cookies at, what's the name of that place? It's at Downtown Disney. I just had to show you them. Those cookies are, the line to get those cookies, literally you have to wait hours to get these cookies. And for some reason, I can't, the name of the cookie place, it escapes me. Damn it. Some of you might know what I'm talking about. That is the best cookie you will ever have. Okay, damn it. Why is it? I can't remember the name of the place. Man, great. Some of you might know. Okay, some of you might know. It's at Downtown Disney. Okay, you know I got to look it up. It's bothering me now. Hold on. Let me see. Downtown or Disney Springs. Disney Springs cookie. Gideon's. That's it. Gideon's Bakehouse. Man, if you ever come to Orlando and you ever come to Disney Springs and you like cookies, Gideon's Bakehouse. Gideon's. And there will be a line. You will wait hours to get this cookie. But when you get this cookie in your hands, you will be thankful. It's no joke. There's videos of it on YouTube of people getting the Gideon's cookie. It's an experience. And it's a delicious cookie. Delicious. Jason, what's up, brother? Man. Close the fridge door. Dudes who order boneless wings close the fridge door with their hips. I don't even know what that means, guys. I don't even know what it means. Is it a bad thing? I don't know. I don't think I've ever closed the fridge door with my hips, though. I will say that. But I could see, you might have to. If your hands are full, you might have to swing that hip to close that fridge door. It might happen, okay? But I don't like boneless wings. I gotta have the bone in, okay? When my hands are full. There you go. Yeah, sometimes you gotta, no judgment. If you gotta close it with your hips, do it. You know? You be you. Okay. Chum on Jason. Oh yeah, here we go. I had to share this one on Instagram, and I had to tag Michael Trapson. I figured he'd love this, and he did. He texted me immediately after. He's like, "Bro, what the fuck was that?" Chum on. Man, man, I tell you, the freaking Photoshop skills there, amazing. Okay, hey, there's a big black metal band out right now. I don't know if some of you are into black metal, but I love their logo too. Here's their logo. Check it out, guys. Isn't that cool? I could let me say it. Can I pronounce it for you guys? It's okay, yeah. This was a little story. AMC will reduce prices by 50% on Wednesdays starting in July. The aim is to get more people into theaters between weekends. Will you guys is that something that's going to push you guys to want to go to the theater more if you pay half price on Wednesdays? I could see that. You know? It's kind of a cool idea. But I thought Tuesdays were supposed to be like discount nights anyway, right? I don't know. So one more actually. A 1998 Cybertruck has just been discovered in the wild, and I think it's electric too. I don't know. I think it's electric too though, but it's $5,800. Okay. I never even noticed that the message. Hi, is this available? Nicholas eats the bones. Yeah. Oh, wrong one. Okay, there we go. Yeah, guys. I think I went over 2 hours today. Shit, we might have did like 2.5 hours. And what did we accomplish today? What did we accomplish? Let's backtrack. Okay, backtrack cinema. We accomplished absolutely nothing. All right, that's what we did. We played grab ass. We looked at funnies. We talked about physical media. I shared some of my favorite VHS covers. You know, Davey, we talked about the big topics today. All right. Trying to cut into my late night with the Davey audience. Damn it. I should have cut out earlier, Davey. I apologize. Yeah. I've missed the grab ass too. Okay. Yeah. And guys, I'm still fully active live, but I just do more, hit the bricks now. So, I'm really enjoying Hit the Bricks. Our last episode, we almost cracked 100 viewers. So it's been really fun. I could not ask for two better co-hosts in Davey and Nick. We always have a blast with each other. And so we will be live again next Monday night. And I will probably every other weekend, I might try to throw in one of these DDLives just to catch up with you guys personally. Okay. Oh, the theater's on Wednesday nights. I got you, Davey. Okay. So, yeah. Jason just dropped my top 50 horror moments from the 1980s. Ooh, that'd be a good one. That'll definitely be a good one. Okay. And Jason, I think I had a funny in here earlier on that you shared. I can't remember what. So if you watch earlier in the stream, one of the funnies I showed, I think it had you shared something. I can't remember what it was, but yeah. So anyway, guys, I think I'm going to cut it here. But you guys have a great weekend. And take care of each other, okay? Love you guys to death, and I thank you for constantly supporting the channel. And